Available now from Capital EMI. And available now from BretMichaels.com.
A good writer can make the mind imagine. A great writer can make the mind believe. When I met Christy, she was a dancer. She was the most beautiful creature I'd ever seen. The absolute object of my desire.
Christy, wake up!
Michael Rain claims to be an innocent man at the wrong place at the wrong time. But the truth is not always as it seems.
Will the defendant please rise?
You have been found guilty of murder in the first degree. You are hereby sentenced to death by electrocution.
Judge, listen to me. I didn't kill her.
His guilt was obvious.
They found you at the scene of the crime. The governor wants to see you fried, Michael.
His innocence, unlikely.
How the hell did you wind up in here, son?
This whole thing just doesn't make sense.
Hello, Michael. My name is Jessica Foster. I may be able to help you.
But something wasn't right.
This is someone's idea of a sick joke. I didn't kill her.
Your secret is safe with me.
Inside here, you need my friendship. Watch yourself, boy.
A desperate man.
Look at me. They're gonna kill me while I'm in here.
You're a disgrace, son.
Waiting to die.
I didn't kill Christy.
Damn two-time loser.
A whole world of people out there don't have any idea what it feels like. Clock going tick, tock. And you just sit here waiting to be executed.
You set me up, didn't you?
There was a governor in the bushes that night.
Get off of here.
This is the governor!
Arrest.
I trusted you, Jessica.
I told you I was innocent.
You're in so much trouble, boy, if you just kept your mouth shut!
He's gone. None of us are innocent. None of us.
Bret Michaels.
Every man's got his snapping point. Maybe I reached mine. Maybe I did kill Christy.
Martin Sheen.
May the good Lord have mercy on your soul.
Christy Gibson. And a special appearance by Charlie Sheen.
Right there, right there.
A letter from death row.
Did I make you like me? Did you really believe I was innocent? Well, I guess they got to go killing that, didn't they, Jessica?
And now for our feature attraction.
Far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a rock star.
Bret has always said it is the most intense feeling in the world when your dreams and your reality collide. It is in the exact moment they collide that it is the purest, when you realize it's just you and your fans. There are no managers, no agents, and especially no critics. Just your music and their ears. Songs you have written from your soul, lyrics that have filled their hearts, and nothing anyone can say or do or write will ever take this reality and this dream away from you. This is about Bret's fight to get there. It's about paying your dues. The struggle and the survival it takes to live that pure moment over and over again. This is Bret's story through my eyes. It's a collection of thoughts, words, images, and of course, music. Questions that I, as a fan, have always wanted answered. Like, where the hell does that guitar go, and who the hell's gonna catch it? Hi, I'm Jana, Bret's personal assistant. And along with Bret's good friend Cliff, I will attempt to share with you some hard facts and some short stories which will hopefully give you some insight into Bret's life. I've always wanted people to experience what I've seen and heard behind closed doors. I wanted people to experience Bret's highs and lows. Some of the good times, and even some of the bad. The controversies, the scandal, and the sex. Lots of sex. The backstage parties, the violence, the wine, the women, and the song. The love, the emotion, and the joy. The pain and the loss. And everything that makes up the entire circle of life. I've shot a lot of video for Bret, but this had to be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Beautiful. Gorgeous. Oh, that's perfect. Excellent. So is this a handsome piano player or a tennis player? You're still moving. I'm not going to hurt her.
Bret and Christy were concerned that Rain would be born with diabetes. But, as you can see, she's a healthy little girl.
Bret has always dreamed big. Whether he was playing at the Pine Grove Inn in front of 83 people, note the superstar entrance, or Texas Stadium in front of 83,000 fans.
Bret told me, if you do what you love for a living, then you'd better love what you do. Do what it takes to get there, and if you can't do it right, do it anyway. Otherwise, you may be doing what you hate for a living and doing it a lot. From what I have seen, Bret loves what he does. He's always performed with incredible energy, extreme intensity, and a hell of an attitude that takes nothing for granted. He's a workaholic, leaving no stone unturned. But he plays even harder, is still a big fan of music, and still manages to kick and/or bare ass, depending on the situation.
Bret was in and out of many garage bands until he turned 17. And as with most garage bands, a lack of gigs, gear, and gelt quickly extinguished the flames of their rock star dreams. But Bret took a licking and kept on ticking. It was then that he hooked up with drummer Ricky Rocket and helped form Spectres. Rumor has it when they met, he was quite a sight, wearing a bandana, stovepipe bell-bottoms, and a Zeppelin t-shirt. He brought with him a PV amp, a harmonica, and a guitar. Mind you, it was a Gibson SG knockoff, but a guitar nonetheless. He had quit school, got his GED, and held many odd jobs just to pay for his gear. Ricky and Bret used to dress up in cheap suits and pretend they were the band's booking agent and manager, due to the fact that no manager or booking agent wanted to handle them at the time. They would walk into the nightclubs, tell the club managers they'd played lots of new wave cover material. Of course, that was a lie. And once the date was booked, they would show up and play original material. Needless to say, they never got a gig back in any of those clubs again. The band used to put their hair up in hats and would act like they were the roadies setting up their own gear. Then they would go back out to their van or a public bathroom, change into their stage clothes and makeup, and reappear on stage like they were superstars.
I will show you what drives Bret to do what he does. To write music, to direct,
pick it up right away so there's not a stiff moment in there, and now go like that.
to produce, and to act.
I never should have come here in the first place. You're a disgrace, son. Damn two-time loser.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah, you're sorry. It's a little too late for sorry now, don't you think? I've seen all I want to see. I'm leaving now. And may the good Lord have mercy on your soul.
Dad. You're gonna fucking kill me. If you leave, I got nobody. I got nobody. I got nobody.
To pursue each and every one of his dreams, including singing the national anthem at Three Rivers Stadium.
Our national anthem will be performed today by a Pittsburgh native whose band has sold more than 20 million records and has released numerous gold, platinum, and #1 hits. Please stand and join Bret Michaels, lead singer of Rock Group Poison, and Joe Roderick of the Stickers in the singing of our national anthem.
Bret truly takes on life full throttle, with a determination and a tenacity like I've never seen before. I will show you some rare and personal photos, some extremely shocking images, and some never-before-seen family home movies.
Ah, there's Michelle, Bret's younger sister, right there next to Bret. She's the frustrated middle child. Bret is, of course, the older rock star brother.
Yeah.
And, of course, Nicole, the I'm smarter, prettier, spoil me daddy with the car in college, I'll be married before you will, younger sister. But Michelle isn't bitter. She just ran away from home at an early age.
Go on, you copper walk.
Fine, I'm never coming back.
Here's the Craigs, the German and Dutch side of Bret's family, with his crazy mother Marge and her father Homer.
Yeah, damn straight.
And her mother Margie, and the entire clan. It's no wonder The Simpsons is Bret's favorite show. On the Russian and Italian side of Bret's family, there is his father Wallace Sychek III, Jean the stepmother and their whole crew, the Hustlingers, the Mazzantis, and a cast of thousands of good family, good fellas, hey, good friends, a couple 2-3 bandmates, new friends, fans, foes, and old buddies who play out in the story of Bret's life. Perhaps Bret's friend Charles said it best when he said,
He's as real as they get, you know, he's an original. Bret's an original. That's about the best compliment I can pay somebody. He's one of the best guys that ever stepped in shoes, you know. He's got a real soul, you know. Oh, heck, I'm gonna get all weepy in a minute.
They say the nut doesn't fall far from the family tree. In Bret's case, no truer statement was ever spoken. But I guess to understand the man, you must first acknowledge the boy.
Daddy worked like a dog all day between the steel mill and the field. Mama was pretty as a picture, raised the children and cooked them.
And you can't acknowledge the boy without acknowledging the parents. And his grandparents, and their parents, and their parents after that, and let's just stop with the grandparents.
Then he'd pick up that old guitar and man, he'd let it play. He'd say, walk a straight line, stand with pride, don't let troubles get you down.
Ah, there she blows, Butler. A beautiful slice of southwestern Pennsylvania. The Sychicks, the Craigs, the Hustlingers, and the Mazzantis, they all moved in. There was Armco Steel, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, seen here at summer training camp. They say that character is built in the bloodline and in the environment. For example, consider the source and note the irony of the family scenes about to play out in front of Bret's very eyes. Images that helped form Bret's character.
There was the dance, the food, the drinking, salute, the smoking, the compassion.
Hey, how's about a little kid? Get off of me!
And we can't forget the mild temper flares, the intermediate temper flares, and the forget about it. There was love, laughter, tears of sorrow, and definitely tears of joy. This was a family who was loyal, blue-collar, hard-working, even harder-playing Americans. Inventive buggers, weren't they? Loyal Pittsburgh fans till the end. Love of the sport, love of the hunt, and love of the game.
Note from Bret's dad, fencing was installed to keep Bret from tackling Michelle on the pavement.
Bret's mom and dad were married on June 11, 1960, in a Greek Catholic church in Lindora, Pennsylvania. The whole family was there. It was a festive time.
It's never gonna work. I give it 3 months, tops.
Although it did last for many years, like being in a band, sometimes things just don't work out.
I would not change a thing, 'cause you're my inspiration, obligation.
Bret's mom was hot-looking and hard-working. She taught him how to play Leavin' on a Jet Plane and Blowin' in the Wind on acoustic guitar. She was fun-loving, driven, and full of life. When Bret was diagnosed with diabetes, Margie was very concerned about his future. However, no matter how worried she was, she always encouraged him to follow his dreams. Bret's dad, Wally, worked at Armco Steel. He served in the Navy in the Korean War, played a little minor league baseball, loved to golf, loved football, loved to hunt. Hell, his dad loved most sports.
Yeah, that's one dead turkey.
He was a hard-working, hard-playing, hard-loving man.
I love when you look in my eyes. 'Cause baby, today I love you for the rest of my life.
Bret's parents settled into an attic apartment in Lindora, and in the long, hot, sticky nights of July 1962, more than fireworks were exploding in that apartment.
Yep, gonna get me some.
Lo and behold, March 15th, 1963, the Ides of March. Bret Michael Sychek is born, and he was special right from the get-go.
Hey, what are you looking at?
Not born with any natural talent, but determined to be the best at something.
Hey, everybody sing happy birthday to me. Come on, everybody.
A very dramatic child.
Mama, Michelle, make me do it.
While on the Power to the People tour with Poison, Michelle tells me of a conversation her and her mom had many years ago. Girls, you know this one. That mother-daughter baby story? Ugh. Anyway, Michelle wanted to know what it was like to have a baby. So Margie says, let me tell you about your brother Bret's birth.
Well, I wish she would come, try to get a hold of
Bret tried to come out, but first. Doctors pushed, pulled, thought they got him turned around. And when he came out again, feet first, a breech child. Ass backwards, which explains an awful lot of unanswered phenomena about Bret.
We stand the pouring rain. If you came back to me, I'd never let you walk away again.
We cut forward to December 24th, 1965. Michelle Ann Sychek is born. Bret with one T, Michelle with one L. And oh, what a looker she was. I hear she came out quite easily, unlike Bret. And except for the doctor thinking she was a boy and the occasional drop on the head, all was well. By 1966, Wally, Marge, Bret, and Michelle, the immediate Sychek family was in full swing. Make note here, Nicole Marie is born March 1977, 11 years and 3 months later.
Yin's rockin' Mechanicsburg.
In 1965, Wally took a job at the Inland Naval Depot in Mechanicsburg, just outside the state capital of Harrisburg. They lived in a row apartment project. They didn't have much money, and by the looks of things, they didn't have very much to wear either. But they made up for it with love, family, friends, lots of alcohol, and vivid imaginations, thus forcing their creative side.
Hey, Michelle, get in. The water's turning all warm and yellow. Come on.
They say that nothing is that thinking doesn't make it so. Example, Bret really thought he was Superman. He really believed he could fly. Oh, the hospital bills. Let's take a moment to watch Bret fly.
You're such a sexy thing and it's alright. But your daddy loves you too and that's alright. He'd buy you diamond rings, but I'm giving you metal things to last.
You have to admire his belief that he really could fly. And you had to admire the fact that he would pick himself up, dust himself off, and continue to jump.
Hey, you trip me again, I'll knock your teeth out. Hey, take it easy, take it easy.
Eventually, he learned what goes up must come down. Bret jumped off of many things, and this would play an important role in his career.
Baby, will you be my girl? Christy, will you be my girl? I'd take you to a better place. There's no pain, no disgrace, a perfect world. We'll drive that ragtop Cadillac. We'll drive that ragtop Cadillac straight across the Nevada line. Radio playing hell fly, no turning back. Hey, babe, I live for times like
Bret's friends have always thought of him as a modern-day cowboy. And considering his parents named him after the famous Western character Bret Maverick, I guess that isn't too far off. Bret likes cowboy hats, cow tipping, cowboy boots, bow-legged women, horses, horse whips, saddle sores, guns, smell of dung, and even the freedom of the big ranch. Yep, he likes being a cowboy. He took that dream as a child and got to live it as a man. Now why don't you good folks sit back, take a look at some of Bret's ranges.
Dance with me slowly, show me a step or two. Mama always wanted me by girls like you, but I like to do, I do. Well, the years gone by, now I'm 29 and I'm the leader of a rockin' band.
Bret loves motorcycles. I can personally vouch for that. Every summer, all of the grandkids would gather at his grandma and grandpa Craig's house. They would ride Graham's Trail 90 motorcycle. One lap, then another kid got to ride. That was the rule. If you did more than one lap without stopping, when Grandpa finally got a hold of you, you got assigned to your respective parent, and the belt came out on the back of the thighs. That was legal at the time, you know. And, to complete the punishment, no more motorcycle till your next visit. Not to mention, you made the Craig family shit list. Oh, Bret made that list quite often.
Important side note, that paddle was actually used on Bret's ass. But Bret didn't care much for rules. No, sir. One time, he got on that 90 with the look of the devil in his eyes, and as he made that final approach on that fateful lap, he started to go faster and faster. Now, you have to know, no one in the history of the Craig family had ever broken Grandpa's golden rule. Of course, Bret had to be the only one to do so. Bret went by. Suddenly, the look of death on Grandpa Craig's face. Although I know Bret took a beating, you have to admire his love of motorcycles. Bret and Michelle loved playing in the dirt, and Bret still loves playing in the dirt to this day. From motorcycles to go-karts to BMX, he always managed to build the best track in the neighborhood. He was an extreme sports freak before there was extreme sports.
Ribbon engine was all I heard, and these were her final words. She jumped into my car and pulled away. She said, "My Lord, I'll be in touch."
In later years, Bret and all of his friends, well, they would build their own dirt tracks on Bret's ranches. Build a track on Bret's property, and everyone will come. I must admit, Bret has always been a good motivator and great host. Somehow, he was always getting people to show up and race, whether they wanted to or not. Side note, control freak, a charming one, but control freak. However, as a child, if no one showed up, he'd race by himself. Knowing Bret, I'm sure that in his head, he was racing against thousands toward victory. I hear Michelle came home early from a softball game that had been rained out. And there was Bret racing his old junker BMX bike all by himself. You kinda had to feel sorry for him, but I'm certain he was happy.
Speaking of Bret's love of motorcycles, he loved them so much that he would drive his parents crazy pretending to ride his imaginary motorcycle around the house.
If you still love me, then tell me so. If you're not certain, then please let me go.
Bret drove his dad so crazy that one spring Wally actually bought him a mini bike.
My last breath to call you mine.
Of course, Bret had to work cutting lawns all summer so he could pay for it, so he never really got to enjoy it. Now the other kids on the block, we're talking Mal and Jan, Richie Watts, Davey Bressler, Billy Jones, and Jeff Amos, which are still friends of Bret's today. They all had real motorcycles, real American bikes, brand names like Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki. And then there was Bret, the proverbial underdog. Right up there between them, God bless him, with his Briggs & Stratton 5-horsepower lawnmower-style pull-start hard metal frame no-shock absorbing mini bike that Wally bought him for $50 at a Vinnie Maselli's garage. But Bret didn't mind. However, to look and feel as cool as the other kids, Bret rode his bicycle, which is a whole other story, down to the Honda dealer and bought himself a set of Honda decals and put them all over the bike. He truly believed and told everyone in town that his bike was a Honda special ordered straight from Europe, and that was why it looked different from all the other kids' bikes. Yeah, right, Bret.
A little rough around the edges.
Bret has always had a big heart when it comes to animals.
Used to stay up with.
Yeah, except for those, illegal dog fights we used to throw in the backwoods there. Never mind. Hey, forget about that.
Since he was young, he had cats, dogs, guinea pigs, which I believe the snake ate, a pet skunk, ostrich, a couple of tortoises, a lion. Well, okay, maybe not a lion. It was a puppy. But anyway, they had a lot of animals.
Hell, they even had the granddaddy of the Taco Bell dog.
Smash cut to the future. On the Open Up and Say Ah tour, Bret bought a Siberian Husky and named him Nicholas. Now you have to understand, Nicholas was a little hellraiser. Eventually, he ran away from home, which broke Bret's heart. Bret spent months trying to find him. However, while doing so, he managed to save another Siberian Husky from the pound. He named him Whiskey. Then another named Noel. And one day, in front of his house, a man pulled up in a pickup truck and out jumped a huge Alaskan Malamute. Bret kept him and named him Gypsy. As time went on, Bret bought Otto, a German Shepherd guard dog. And then there was Nikita. She was a great German Shepherd. One of the best was Jazz, a beautiful Siberian Husky. Jazz was the last little puppy left at the pet shop on Christmas Eve, and Bret just couldn't bear to leave him. However, Jazz did manage to eat an entire leather couch in one sitting. Bret then bought 2 horses, Bo and Nez, beautiful Arabians. No couches to eat, but Bo ate the fence instead. And then he bought himself a wolf named Shadow. Bret quickly learned raising a wild animal is very difficult. Reluctantly, he had to release her to a wolf retreat where she eventually had a litter of beautiful pups. As time went on, he managed to save several other shepherds from the pound, one in which he named Hero and another Midnight. In time, he placed them in good homes. And while living in Nashville, Tennessee, he bought Bronson and Shiloh, 2 more beautiful German Shepherds. Shiloh even has her own fan club, ShilohShepherd.com. Like I said, Bret loves animals.
Each one of Bret's tattoos stand for something extremely important in his life. The poison tattoo on his left shoulder, the first one he ever got, was done at the Sunset Strip Tattoo. It's a shield with the name Poison through the midsection with 4 stars surrounding it, each star representing a member of the band. It stands for strength and friendship between Ricky, Bobby, Cece, and Bret. The Every Rose Has Its Thorn tattoo on Bret's right shoulder and bicep was done in Toronto in 1988 during the Open Up and Say Ah tour. It truly symbolizes Bret's life. For every good thing, there is a bad thing. For every bad thing, there is a good. It is a system of checks and balances for Bret. When Bret got his tattoo in Toronto, he was extremely drunk and managed to scratch most of the ink out of it. Later, he had the whole thing redone in LA. His right hand has an 8th note with a flame extending from it. This symbolizes that music is his burning passion. On the inside of Bret's left forearm, it states something to believe in. It symbolizes the pain Bret felt when he lost his good friend Chemo. The tattoo was done in a hotel room in New York. The word believe was misspelled, so a rose and vine were added to fix the mistake. On Bret's back right shoulder, it simply says life, love, and loyalty. 3 key words Bret tries to live by. Enjoy life, pray for love, and honor loyalty. On Bret's right hip is a strong, passionate, and powerful statement. A red heart with a blue banner. It says Christie above it. On the inside of Bret's right forearm, it states Reign Elizabeth, 52000, with a star. It symbolizes Bret's never-ending love for his daughter, as well as a circle of life.
It will never cease to amaze me how many people have great tattoos just like Bret. Or how many people have tattoos not only symbolizing their admiration for Bret, but poison as well. Myself included. Equally amazing is the amount of people that have Bret's name tattooed on various parts of their anatomy. Talk about hardcore fans and kick-ass tattoos. Now that's rock and roll.
Now things dangerous. Now things rough. Now things sleazy. Now Scott did no area anymore. Dick on a swanky little pad down by the shore. He gon' prime time online. 69.
Bret's family loved cars. The good ones, the bad ones, the new ones and the used ones, the abused ones, and especially the ugly ones.
Whose idea was it to buy this anyway? No heat, middle of winter.
Obviously, this spilled heavily into Bret's bloodline. Cliff, why don't you tell him about a few of the cars that Bret's owned?
Bret's first car was a mint green 68 LTD with a black vinyl roof. Bret called it the sex machine. Most people called it a boat. But sold to Bret by his father, and when it didn't work, which was most of the time, he would drive his mother's orange Opel. Until the day he wrecked it one time on the Susquehanna Bridge, coming home from Maryland on a party binge at 17. He's lucky to be alive. Are you noticing a pattern here in wrecked cars? I believe once Bret even got to drive the infamous White Falcon, a Sychek family classic, complete with red vinyl interior and a piece of plywood for a floorboard. However, this particular white car isn't it. No real picture was actually available. His first car, as I mentioned, was the mint green LTD, aka the boat. Then there was the white Oldsmobile. He wrecked it, and when poison finally hit, Bret bought a real winner, a black Porsche 924, which he sold for scrap metal. Then there was a black 79 Corvette, which he blew the engine racing Bobby's Toyota MR2, a 63 Vet, which was awesome, a white 84 convertible Vet, which he traded for a black BMW 735 IL. There was a white BMW 750 IL. Then there was the Jaguar collection. There was the mysterious 89 XJS Coupe, which when you turned on the radio, the windows would go down. The 92 XJS convertible, the 94 XJ6, the 95 XJ6, the red XJ8, and eventually the 2000 Jaguar S-Type. As far as Fords go, we covered it with 97 and 2000 Ford Expeditions, an 89 F-150, a 95 Bronco, a 96 F-150 Custom, wrecked, police report, not Bret's fault, someone else tried to kill him. Then he moved into Mercedes, Bret's pride and joy, his black S600 and his 2001 Platinum S500. And let's not forget the Ferrari 328 GTS. Wrecked it, wrapped it around a telephone pole. Ciao, arrivederci Ferrari. Or the Jeep Laredo. Wrecked. He took it up to Pismo Beach and jumped it off one of the sand dunes. You know, like they do in the commercials. It never ran again.
Now that's a spicy meatball.
Yep, Bret loves his cars.
Bret's love for motorcycles and the freedom they bring extended from the dirt to the street. His love of Harleys started when he was very young. First it was the movie Easy Rider, and then it was CC Rider, starring Joe Namath. And as time went on, Evel Knievel. Bret used to stand outside the fence in York, Pennsylvania at the Harley factory, where they would finish putting the bikes together. He would watch them go around the test track, and he swore one day that he would ride that test track on a new Harley. You know, and if thinking doesn't make it so, damn it, he didn't do that in 1991, when Poison returned to play Hershey Stadium on the Flesh and Blood Tour. Bret got to live out another dream. He got to ride a brand new Springer around that test track. Bret's Hogs, have always been highly publicized for their originality. His first was an 86 wide glide flame-painted chopper.
Yep, you guessed it, he wrecked it. I remember hearing about this accident. It was at Lankershim Boulevard, coming home late one night after celebrating, recording the song Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Pretty ironic if you ask me. The accident landed him in the hospital for several days. He's actually lucky to be alive.
As bikes go, he had a black and chrome Softail Heritage with custom paint and a poison skull sculpted onto the bike. As well as a rose coming up from the front fender and a guitar with real guitar strings sculpted on the back. However, his most infamous bike is the Hollywood Taxi, which many have tried to imitate, but none could duplicate. This bike has made its way into many videos, including Fallen Angel and Unskinny Bob, as well as appearing in Easy Rider and Super Cycle magazines. A photo of this infamous bike is displayed in the Harley-Davidson Cafe in New York. Bret still rides this bike to this day.
Having the opportunity to work with Bret and tour with Poison, to witness the chemistry between them is indescribable. They are a true band of brothers. There's an old country proverb that says, when you get invited to the biggest dance of the year, you dance with who brung ya. I know for a fact that Bret is definitely dancing with Poison. Bret is as loyal to Ricky, Bobby, and Cece as they are to him.
They have overcome fistfights, internal problems, drug abuse, harsh words, and heavy drinking. They've survived over 20 years together in one of the toughest businesses in the world. And hopefully, 20 more.
While on tour with Poison, I have seen things backstage, on tour buses, and in hotel rooms that I actually have trouble believing. I could never attempt to explain it all. But somehow, through all the madness, they've helped each other survive it. The tough times and the great times, the successes, the hardships, and the chaos, the marriages, and the children, divorces and lawsuits. No one playing a more important role than the other. Each is there for the other. No backstabbing. Of course, till one guy steps out of the room.
Each plays an important part of the band. They split all things 4 ways. No matter what. No matter who writes it, who sings it, who performs it, designs it, or gets sued for it. They all sink or swim together.
In some Palm Springs, a hotel room. I got the call last Christmas.
The great thing is that they have allowed each other to go out and pursue outside projects.
I tried all night and all to break down and cry.
But somehow, they all manage to get together year in and year out and pull for the mothership, which is Poison.
I remember sitting down with Bret in the back of the bus on the Greatest Hits tour, and I asked him, all bullshit aside, how he really felt about performing with the band, and he replied, I wouldn't have it any other way. They have helped me to live out my dreams, and I hope that I've helped them live out theirs. And most of all, they believed in me when no one else gave a shit.
Though I tried, but I guess that's why they say every rose has its thorn.
Through all of this, Bret proves that music is more than a game of notes, but rather it's a soundtrack for everyday life.
Just like every cowboy sings and sings a song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah, it does.
In closing, I can't think of a better way to end part 1 than with a quote that I remember Bret saying during an interview.
I loved making music long before anyone knew who I was. And believe me, I'll still love making music long after anyone cares.
And that's all this fan needs to know.
that brings me hope, gives me faith, for our time is done. I wanna be the one to give you love, give you strength, get you through your darkest days. When you cry, I'll dry the tears for you. Through the years, through the pain, times of heartache, times of change. I'll be your sun, you'll be my rain. If I ever let you down, I didn't mean to do that. If you need me and I'm not around, I'm sorry for that. Sometimes life is strange.